There's so much fear circulating around ALGORAND right now, and I absolutely love that because it's driving the price down, and I am buying more and more ALGORAND because I believe that there is a huge upside to this crypto project. In this video, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on what is really going on with this massive SEC battle, what it really means for ALGORAND, and going into the future where ALGORAND is really going to be heading. So guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get into today's ALGORAND video. So in my Telegram group, which is absolutely free and linked down below, guys, so make sure you get into that. People have been talking about ALGORAND, and guys have been pretty fearful about what is really happening with ALGORAND. And it's all because of this particular news article where the SEC has labeled ALGORAND and 5 other tokens as securities in a Bittrex lawsuit. Now this would effectively be devastating for ALGORAND as a cryptocurrency investment within the United States, as it would then come under tons of other regulation. However, this week has been extremely important in this SEC battle where Gary Gensler has been absolutely hammered in trying to define whether or not these different cryptocurrencies are in fact securities. And it's been extremely interesting to watch because he himself has really struggled to define whether or not things like Ethereum are securities, and this is basically key to the whole argument. He's unable to define whether or not these cryptos are securities, and this is absolutely key because he's really struggling to be able to define whether or not these are securities, and therefore I really don't think they're going to be labeled as securities. This has meant that ALGORAND, which has been absolutely demolished towards the downside in the last few days because of these allegations from Gary Gensler, will almost certainly not get labeled as a security going forward. And Gary Gensler, all the way back in 2019, gave a presentation at MIT where he described ALGORAND as a phenomenal technology. He talked about how Uber had been using it and many other companies had benefited from using this incredible blockchain. Now, you as an ALGORAND holder understands that the technology behind ALGORAND is different from any other blockchain out there, using pure proof of stake technology, which allows it to be ultra fast, ultra scalable, and incredibly secure, solving the blockchain trilemma with platforms like Solana and Ethereum being left in the dust by ALGORAND. So what we must understand as investors is that ALGORAND is still a phenomenal technology, but this recent bit of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that may have affected us in the short term won't necessarily have a huge impact in the long term. And what's interesting that's happening this week with Gary Gensler getting absolutely hammered for his attitude towards crypto is very key. If we look at what is going on in the rest of the world right now, the United States dollar has basically been the global currency since the end of the Second World War. However, in the last few weeks, we've seen the BRICS countries saying that they're going to move away from the US dollar. We've even got countries in the Eurozone, which have been allied to the States for a very long time, starting to say that they need to focus more on a relationship with China. The war that's been happening in Ukraine saw Russia have heavy sanctions put on it by the United States. This meant that global trade in their own currency became very difficult, and this meant that they had to look for alternative methods to be able to trade, such as using cryptocurrency. They're now announcing that they're going to use cryptocurrencies to trade more regularly, and they're going to start to mine, and they're going to now start putting a heavy emphasis on mining cryptocurrency. Hong Kong, which is a part of China, well, China still holds a ban on crypto, and I do believe that they will hold that ban pretty much forevermore. Hong Kong is recognizing crypto as a property in a Gatecoin case. This decision aligns with ruling in China and the UK, showing a progress regulatory regulations of cryptocurrency in Hong Kong. Now, what we saw originally was many crypto companies such as Huobi, Binance, Bybit, and many others being founded in China. But many of these cryptocurrencies after the ban in China then started to find headquarters in other places, and many of them did move to America. However, now regulation is coming in America more and more. Those companies are now starting to move to other places such as Hong Kong, Singapore, and booming economies such as Indonesia. Many countries around the world have recognized the power of cryptocurrency, and they've started to take on the responsibility of driving the crypto economy forward. So what I'm here to debate is, yes, if the SEC comes in and regulates cryptocurrencies and calls them securities, it's probably going to have a bit of a negative impact. But what I think we're seeing is the US, that's been able to bully its way around the world for years and years when it comes to finance, starting to lose that grip, and other countries turning the screw on them. The people who've been questioning Gary Gensler this week realize that the US can't afford to put too much pressure on cryptocurrency, because this could cause them to lose a further grip on their global dominance when it comes to finance. So whether or not the SEC decides that ALGORAND is a security, I think in the long term, doesn't really matter. ALGORAND's developing in a huge way across India, across France, and various other places. I think in a short space of time, it's going to start to spread its network out even further. And so what I'm saying is, be very cautious of selling into FUD and being too easily manipulated by the fear that you're seeing circulating around right now. Wow guys, so you can see right here what has been happening in the last couple of days for ALGORAND. And you're probably going, well, that looks really scary. You're probably right. We have seen general crypto market taking a bit of cool off as Bitcoin starts to cool off as well. And there's a good reason for that. Bitcoin has been rallying towards the upside without any major pullback since pretty much the start of the year. This means that many people now, or many wallets holding Bitcoin, are now in profit, whereas before, for a long time, they've all been in loss because of the massive bear market. This means that people will start to offload Bitcoin. And that means that Bitcoin will start to lose its value. And Bitcoin is the daddy of crypto. And when the daddy starts to lose a bit of ground, the altcoins around it with smaller market caps that are more volatile and more high-risk assets will take a bigger hit against it. But what we're seeing now is that ALGORAND in the last 4 days is now going to give me a 16% discount on where it was before. And what we can see here is interesting for the ALGORAND price. When we see these pushes and then dips like this, you can identify before what happened in this zone. Look at the candles that come out of this area. That tells me that in this area, ALGORAND is being heavily bought up by big money. Big money wants to buy ALGORAND at around 19 cents, or under 20 cents at least. And then what we get is another dip down. You'll understand that this is a liquidity grab. And that means that we have a good opportunity to be able to buy ALGORAND here because everyone does this. So what everyone will do is they'll place a trade and they'll put their stop loss just underneath the previous wicks or the previous low on that move. So they might have opened their trade up here, they might open it down here, wherever. And you can see that they have a stop loss under here. Notice what happens then when ALGORAND comes back into this zone. It dips slightly underneath this area, and it does that because it's looking for liquidity. Because it hasn't just rallied all the way down, it does tell me that we are likely to see a reversal here. I could be wrong, we could see a further dip, but I'm not really that bothered. I'm looking to buy it on spot. I'm not looking to long ALGORAND on leverage because I don't need to, because I think it's got enough upside potential just trading a one-to-one on spot. What I can see has happened here is it's taken out that liquidity. That is all the stop losses from everyone who's gone long here, and now we're looking to maybe move back towards the upside. But this doesn't really matter, guys, because what I'm looking at is really where we see upside potential for ALGORAND. And really back to all-time highs, you've got ALGORAND doing a 14x pretty much from current levels. And this is why this is so significant, because if I take a move from the top of the recent high just 3 days ago and I move it to the top here, then we only get a 10x. So actually, by buying in slightly lower down and having a little bit of patience, I now get potentially another 400% when we get to that top. So it is very key where you're buying in at the bottoms. And if you're buying in at the bottoms, you have a great upside potential. But realistically, I think the way the crypto market is heading, ALGORAND having a great future, we are going to be looking at a $5 ALGORAND, which from current levels, we're looking at a 25x. Now, I obviously could be wrong, guys. Do your own research and don't invest more money than you can afford to lose. If you want to find out more about what I'm buying all the time, then get in my Telegram, which is linked down below. I also have a premium Telegram group, which has a $9.99 per month price tag and 5 days free trial. I called Medicaid last night in the Inner Circle Telegram, and since then you can see it's now done an 85% push, 8 hours or so. So guys, if you want to be keeping up to date with some of the best trades going on, then make sure you get into my Inner Circle Telegram group. Go through the free group down below, guys, and pinned to the top of that group is the premium Telegram where you get access to this, everything I'm buying and selling all the time, and that's the best way to keep up to date with what's going on. Fairdesk as well are doing a sponsorship deal where you can win up to $100 to trade on Fairdesk. That's through joining the Inner Circle group as well. You can also get up to a $35,000 bonus by signing up through Fairdesk and joining my Inner Circle group. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, you want to learn more about ALGORAND, other cryptocurrencies that I'm buying, then make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the very next video. Bye-bye.